They say all art is autobiography. Now, of course, you didn't create the franchise, but you are definitely the figurehead of it.
Yeah.
What part of it, is there any part of Agent 47 that is you, that maybe the writers connected?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's two answers to this question. And here's the thing. This first part of the answer is I can't believe I've not said this before. Um, I mean, many, many years ago. But it is a part of me because when I was at university, I signed up to do the stunts for the first semester of uni. And that was on my third year. That was my third year. But I thought there's this thing called RAG. I don't know, you have it in the States. The first semester, 12 weeks, 14 weeks. It culminates with RAG week. RAG is how can we raise money for charity? And I said, listen, I'm in my third year in the drama department, and I'll do anything. I said, I like to be in charge of your stunts, and so I was. So I had to come up and think of all crazy stuff to do. And some of the stuff was pretty out there. But here's the thing: I forgot in the last 1,000 years since I graduated that I came up with the most iconic, crazy idea, which turned the campus of 25,000 students into living in fear because I started Hitman. You could come to the RAG office and I would sit there and I would say, listen, it's not me, but I'm just taking the bookings. Um, who do you want the RAG Hitman to hit? And they say, listen, could you hit my best friend in a sociology class? There's like 400 students in there. Could you come in and just zap him in the face with a pie? I did this like big sort of shaving cream pies with a paper plate cut so it was coned a bit so it wouldn't hurt the nose. But I just filled it and I'd be dressed in black with a black balaclava, so they had no idea who the hitman was. And I started this thing, and it went mental. I had the deans of the faculties contacting me, the chancellor of the university, some of the senior lecturers, because they were worried that, hey, what if my whole class of 400 people or 300 people, whatever, chipped in and got me zapped with a big pie in the middle of a lecture? Uh, there's a lot of money to be made on such a hit. Tell me about it. And and I had to say, oh, okay, because they were genuine. The university was running scared for 12, 14 weeks. And I hit everyone. I hit, they got so sophisticated, these hits. Sometimes I'd hide in a cupboard for 1.5 hours in a lecture room behind the lecturer. So, and the only way I could do that is because I thought, I've got to be there before the class starts. So I'll get into the cupboard, then I'll change, and I'll wait for 1.5 hours.
Wow.
So everyone has had time to forget that I was, that there's no way the hitman could come into this room. The doors are locked and whatever. I was already there.
Man.
And then, I wouldn't, I wouldn't necessarily know who I was going to hit. I just know that the person who booked me would be sitting down, and the person to his right, I'm going to hit. I don't give a shit who it is, man, woman, child. You're going down, and and or I so anyway, this went on for 12, 14 weeks, and it really got hectic because they were some of the students wanted to beat up the hitman.
Mm.
I mean, as payback, because they just had their ass wiped in the middle of a class or walking down in the refectory or in the toilets. I mean, I'd hit you anywhere. I didn't give a shit. And so it really struck fear into them. There was nowhere that could be safe. You know, you could be walking down a corridor, you could be, you know, changing, you know, in the changing rooms after basketball or something. I just get you. And I adjusted the price for these hits according to the difficulty. And then because there was this movement to beat up the Hitman as this kind of revenge thing, I don't know why. I had to have decoys. I had to actually have other guys who looked like me physically and could run very, very fast, who, when I'd do a hit, suddenly there'd be like 3 or 4 hitmen running out in different directions and just running off. So everyone going, shit, who's the guy? Damn. Or on 1 or 2 occasions, to kind of take the heat off me personally, I'd have to have a decoy hitman do the hit. So I would be seen eating my lunch innocently, and then some guy would come in dressed in black and go, you know, and take out. And we got, I told it was not me. And then, of course, yeah. But I think I only did that twice because I really enjoyed the hits. So that's the one-off.
Oh.
So the point is, it's been in my nature. It's in my bloody genes or my chromosomes or DNA or something. I just like to. I should have been a hitman because I made a fortune, by the way, a fortune, all for charity. I even hit. Oh damn it! I even hit a girl I was dating. Ah, that was so cruel. She didn't know it was me. She had her suspicions, and I said, "Well, I take the bookings, but it's not me." So, and she said to me, "You wouldn't hit me, would you?" I mean, you. No, no, no. I lied, and I whacked her, and it didn't end well for us anyway. C'est la guerre.